So we were Team 5. We were dealing with core and edge models of innovation in curriculum, and I guess the idea being whether or not innovation needs to be sort of a core element tied directly to learning outcomes, or whether it could be an edge element in curriculum where the idea is you can have learning outcomes that don't specify the innovation, but you still need to use innovation to reach those outcomes. So Team 1 had a spy at our table, I think, because our idea was to develop a foundation course in innovation for all incoming undergraduate students. Graduate students could act as mentors in such a situation. It act as sort of an innovation boot camp. One thing I will put is we talked about all incoming undergraduate students, so in a lot of times we end up breaking this into a first year and a third year experience, but our idea was that transfers could be in this with first year, so it's sort of like it's just all incoming. It doesn't matter what year you are or where you are, but if you're coming to FIT, you get sort of introduced through this year of innovation boot camp. It would be teaching to fail, to take risks right from the beginning of their career at FIT so that they would be able to carry that on with them, teaching to collaborate. The idea would be essentially that if this were a full year, a two-semester process, the first semester could be really focused on core elements, so learning outcomes that are very directly tied to very specific curricular outcomes in the first semester, whereas the second semester could move a little bit more towards the EDGE model. But I think really the idea is this whole year, introducing them to this innovation center, whatever that might be, whatever we can imagine it could be, that 1 year allows the rest of their career at FIT to be really an EDGE model because they know how to have the rigor, the discipline that are laid out by the core elements in that first semester. Barriers, dollar signs everywhere, as many dollar signs as we could fit, but really it's coming down to current program and accreditation requirements. So we would have to have buy-in from every department across the school. The idea is very specifically this would be all schools would be joined into this experience. This would not be specific to B&T or A&D or the graduate program or anything, but all schools. So figuring out how to get buy-in from every department. The 2+2 could potentially be a barrier because if this is in the AAS program, how do we deal with that in the BF? You know, the 2+2 could be a barrier we need to just figure out how to work with. Faculty silos, land grabs, AOP, et cetera, things with faculty, being able to teach in different departments, being able to move a little bit more fluidly outside of singular departmental silos. Professional development, we'd need a lot of faculty. If we had a whole 1 year thing for all students, we'd need a lot of faculty. We have a lot of great faculty. Some of them would need development. A lot of them would need development. We'll also need to bring in outside faculty. It needs to be a lot of development and a lot of thought about faculty. And lack of flexibility in the curriculum is probably a barrier. Short-term faculty working group, write a pilot of an innovation course. Medium-term, identify qualified faculty. Fit the course into all programs, figure out how to fit it in credit-wise and everything. Also navigate contractual issues, find physical space. Long-term is permanent space, connecting coursework to outside partners. So a big part of this sort of foundation experience we were thinking is that it also needs to connect back into industry. It needs to connect back into the city. We need to get people outside of the school to want to engage in projects with our students and with our faculty here in this innovation boot camp or this year of this year-long experience. And professional development, and revolving faculty, talking about just keeping this like fresh, so it's always sort of new faculty moving through, making sure you figure out somehow to keep this 1 year experience being fresh. So it's not we write it and then 20 years later we're still teaching the same kind of things, but how to keep it constantly updating. And the last thing in long-term sort of goal and implementation is that if this really worked well, it could become a part of FIT's uniqueness, a part of the identity, and a part of how we market the FIT educational process. Any anything? Does that hit it all? Oh.